Hi everyone. So during our little quiz this week, it showed that I would be a interpersonal manager, which makes a lot of sense to me after I did all my research for this week. Um, so the skills that I think a manager should be able to have to create resources for their employees, I think the two most important one is coordinating and directing. Coordinating with different areas of the hospital, different part of the multidisciplinary team, like with pharmacy. I know something that's been very controversial where I work at Mission Health is that we used to have very easy to use micromedics to look up all our drug compatibilities, what we can give with what. And they recently took that away in the pharmacy, so now we're having to use something, a different program, which is so much harder to use, and that nurses aren't encouraged to look up their. I know we have to, but you have to jump through so many hoops to look up your IV compatibility. And I think if there had been better coordination from the start with the pharmacy and like the Lexicomp company, then we wouldn't have had to have that resource and then have it taken away. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. And I think another really important one is directing. I think every manager everywhere has to be able to get their employees to do what they need to do in an efficient amount of time. And that's part of what directing is. The book defines it as management activities that gets work done through others through direction, supervising, leading, motivation, and communicating. And I think for us to have a successful unit or department at all, there has to be some sort of direction. And the two other ones that I believe are top priority are planning and organizing. I don't think any nursing department is going to be flowing smoothly if there's not organization to it. There has to be a method to the madness in nursing. The same thing with planning. So when I was looking through like horizontal and vertical management structures where I work in the emergency department at Mission Health, and it's the biggest department at the Mission Memorial or St. Joseph's campus in Asheville, and it's also the biggest department in Western North Carolina. We have over 100 employees. So we have a vertical structure, which means I, as like a floor nurse, a staff nurse, I report to my team leader, who reports to my nursing supervisor, who reports to my nursing manager, and there's like department managers above them, and then there's like the hospital nursing officers. So we definitely have a vertical structure, but all of my managers, all my supervisors, all my team leaders, they're super nice, super easy to talk to. So I feel like if I needed to speak directly to my manager and bypass my team leaders or my nursing supervisors, there wouldn't be any hurt feelings, and I would be able to talk to them. So I feel like we have very good communication, even though we do have a vertical structure, which is kind of like a hierarchy. It's like a pyramid. You have the main manager and then people who report under them, and I just think that ours is very effective. I don't think having such a large department that we could have a horizontal structure, because it would just be way too much for one person to be in charge of. It would drive someone nuts to be in charge of so many employees in so many instances. A horizontal or a flat structure is where there's one manager in charge, and a benefit to that is better communication with the like the staff nurses, the unit nurses, and I think that would be very beneficial in a smaller department. Like where I used to work, there were not very many nurses at all, and I think that would be very effective there to be able to build bonds with your employees like that. If I was to advance into a management position, which I don't think I'm interested in at this point in my career, I would have to spend more time being less task-oriented and look more at the bigger picture. Like my team leaders and my nursing supervisors, they make the patient assignments to the rooms whenever they come to the emergency department, and you have to really look at what every nurse has going on and who can handle what with their experience and what they have going on in their rooms right now. And I think when they're doing that, and then they're helping with flow, and they're helping everybody get all their things done so that we can get people up to their hospital rooms or get them discharged. You just have to have like a big picture of what's going on in the entire department versus me as a staff nurse. I'm just keeping what I have in my 3, 4, maybe 5 patients, what they need to get done right now so that they can get discharged, so they can get treatment, if they can need to be admitted, things like that. I also think that the vertical structure in my department is the best way to go. I think that with a more strict oversee of the nurses is very crucial whenever you're working in an environment where everything's fast paced. Especially with nursing, there's so many responsibilities and liabilities with nursing. You need to keep a close eye on what all is happening. Like I know, it's not uncommon for nurses to be diverting narcotics, which I think I read somewhere in the past. So it's like 1 in every 4 nurses. And I think if you have such a large department with a horizontal structure, things like that could get missed a lot. So I think with the vertical structure and the more strict observation of the nursing and what they're doing is very crucial. But yeah.